Our first pattern in this second advanced tape, that's called 2 cuts above, is a couple turn with a hand change behind the back. And it looks like this. We start in a closed frame and we dance a basic forward, 2, 3, get the lady out of the way slightly on 5. Man's still going straight forward, shoulders parallel. 1, 2, man coming across, just like when we did it earlier in one of the earlier tapes. 3, 5, we're now facing, man's facing line of dance, lady's hand has just slipped off the man's shoulder. Man has done a hand change, is now holding the lady's right hand with his right hand behind the lady's back. Turn the lady out, 1, 2, making sure that it stays down so that it's not uncomfortable. And then the man's lifting the right hand up, grabbing hold with his left hand on 3, 5. One quick thing that I'd like to point out to the guys is guys are going to need to make sure that as they make this hand change behind the back, 1, 2 on the count of 3, that they make sure that the lady's palm is facing away for comfortability's sake and that they're only holding on to the fingers. And then bring her through 5. The next thing the man's going to have to remember is to let the lady turn out and unravel before he starts lifting the hand up.
Unravel?
Unravel, unfurl, unwrap.
My arm will unravel. I will not.
It will unravel. Various other synonyms for unwrap. If you were to start lifting the arm higher, she'd be very uncomfortable. She'd have to bend over or something so that her arm doesn't break. So you want to turn it, and then once she's finished turning and her arm's out from under, then you can start bringing the hand up. So you've done the hand change, 1, 2, hand change 3, through count of 5, 1, 2, then it starts coming up, 3, man stepping sideways, hooking behind on the count of 5. Ladies just pivot backwards and is only starting to over-rotate into the facing the man on the back end of 5. The next pattern that the man's going to do as soon as he's done the couple turn with hand change, behind the lady's back and then taking it over her head, is he's going to go to corkscrews. And that was the position that we just ended up in this position here. So showing that transition with counts. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2 on the count of 3, you're making the hand change. 5, you're bringing her past you. Lady's hand is slipping off, making sure, especially with talons like this, they don't scrape the man's neck or something. Ah!
At least not unintentionally.
Unintentionally. Depends on if he's hurt your arm. Then you can scrape him. 1, 2. Of course, lady's still got her arm in frame, so the man can pick it up on the count of 3 as the lady's forward line of dance and the man sideways. And then the man is, of course, passing the lady on the count of 5 such that he can see by her head, just like we talked about in the earlier tapes. So basically what we're doing is we're going to a position that's going to do lariats, but we're going to add in a man's duck and a lady's duck, and it's going to become corkscrews. And we've gotten to that position, that piston, gotten to that position. I'm really, at this point in the day, having a lot of trouble with my mouth working. Right. So as we go across, doing the couple turn, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5, man's passed on the count of 5. Lady starting from the pivot position, starting to over-rotate, keeping her feet in that position. And this is the first time, I believe, that we're starting to talk about spirals. Yes? Maybe we talked about more in earlier tapes.
I think it would be good to review them.
Absolutely. In the advanced tape, one of the things that you're going to notice is that the lady is turning a lot. Man's turning a couple times, but lady's turning very often. And in two-step, especially in country western dancing as a whole, but two-step specifically, the lady does turn a lot. And as we get into advanced tapes, and even later in this tape, lady's going to be doing some syncopated turns. And so once you're getting into consistent turns and directional changes and syncopated turns and so on for the lady, it's going to become very important that she's comfortable with her turn technique. If we were just talking about a lady's basic outside turn and this position that she's got, the foot position, the pivots that we've covered in earlier tapes, she wants to make sure that she keeps her foot position constant, in this case her right foot in front of her left, and that she turns with her weight on her left foot, balances, and then steps forward onto her right foot. Turns and balances on her right foot, and then steps off onto her left. Now you see that's a two-part turn. First she turns, balances, and then she steps off and commits weight to the new foot. Turns and balances, commits weight. Turns, balances, and commits weight. Two-part turn, very important. What that does, in addition to becoming comfortable with a constant foot position that allows you to hit your forward and back alignments, which improves your alignment and improves your awareness of the room and your partnership, The two-part turn, balancing on the foot, requires you to get comfortable with your balance and stability. When you learn how to balance on one foot and then change weight when you're ready to instead of when you want to, it's going to be very important for you to already know how to stand on that foot before you commit weight. A lot of people are used to just naturally falling off of the foot and falling onto the step. But because their body flight and momentum is traveling, their feet are catching up, and the turn technique is not as solid as it could be. Ladies, once you're finished that pattern that has gotten you to do a 1, 2, 3 pivot the entire way, and because the man's up beside you and is hooked behind and is asking you to turn and face, you're keeping your feet the same position that they're in, but you're over-rotating into a spiral position. So you've hit that pivot position on 5, you keep your feet there, and the man is not moving you off. That's the key thing. Oftentimes the man would move your feet and ask you to step, or rotate you all the way around and ask you to step through. And the difference that you know is that he's asking these hands, he's not asking you to move, he's not taking the hands up, he's just asking you to rotate on that foot and keep your feet in the same position, which will spiral you up on the count of 6. So as the man's picked up the hands, 2, 3, 5, and 6, now they're facing each other, and the man's passed, of course, ready to go into the corkscrews. Trying that section again and then going on. Man opening up, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3. Lady's facing forward, man's just stepped sideways. Man's hooked behind, still facing the lady, asking her to rotate to face the man using a spiral.